Hey everyone, welcome back to Dork Plays The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. The Return of the Great Departed Soul. The final part of this trial. We must have Courtney Scythe and Madame Tuspells come into court.
We have to help Hairbrain, and we also got to make sure that this lady that's over here, Mrs. Scythe, was part of the actual not conspiracy, but I guess the actual plot that killed Mr. Osmond.
Yeah. Ah, the Knight Errant himself.
Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes?
I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least.
I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself.
I have to ask, what on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What's this professor business all about? He doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he? We don't know.
Have no idea. Ah, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago.
Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies.
As it turns out, Lord Von Sykes is more intimately tied to this case than any of us realize, isn't he? Also, sorry for the train.
This is the third time they even made the pass!
Every time we get ready to record, I keep telling people, every time we get ready to do something, a plane or a train comes by at the exact moment when we get started,
and
or
sometimes
like in the middle.
Both.
They are relentless.
Yes, how true. Yeah, indeed, how true. His great friend from university in the dark. And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man.
You make it sound deliberate.
I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling. Oh yes? In what particular manner? Well, there's Mr. Drebber, Dr. Scythe, and Lord Von Sykes. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow. Yes, in fact I, alone, am not a member of the set. Though that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other.
I mean, he does have a point.
Excuse... who?
Oh?
Oh no.
Hello.
Excuse me.
Dr. Scythe.
Duh, that's what you sound like.
Oh.
Ah, Dr. Courtney Scythe, nay, Stevens. Good day to you. Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Because Gregson told me. Did I not put my... I didn't silent my phone. Whoopsie daisy.
Oopsie toodles.
To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel. I smell nothing but corpse and disinfectant. Can I smell?
Ew, you probably don't.
No.
It'll make you puke. A policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you, as it happens, Dr. Scythe. And I accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened.
That certainly won't be possible. Lord Von Sykes won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Lord Strongheart? Wait, but...
The Pandora's box you were warned about is the professor case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information of it out of me. But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice! I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets. None at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you.
Ouch. Well, she mentioned it too. This Pandora's box.
Whatever does it all mean? There's really no cause for concern. I assure you when the trial resumes, the meaning will become all too apparent, whether you'd like it to or not.
Huh?
Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits.
I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much.
Yes, one word of warning before I go. If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass.
Alright, I understand. Thank you.
Good. I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away at the truth.
What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder?
I wonder.
I do wonder, especially the bit about whatever may come to pass. It's like every time it's just... Sometimes he's silly, then other times it's like, hey, you need to watch out for this.
Sholmes can be hard to read.
Yeah. It's time for the final chapter then. I'm determined to find the truth. No matter what.
Spoken like a true attorney.
Every time he does that point thing, I always think about, like, what's his name, like the first JoJo opening.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like, ah, man, like, his descendants really gotta be pursuing this as well. Kind of like the Joe stories when they're fighting evil. But, anyway. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
Yes, my lord. The defense is also ready. As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectations.
As seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord.
So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter. Lord Von Sykes.
My lord?
Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuswells?
Not at all. She is in the antechambers as we speak and ready to be summoned.
Very well. Bring in the witness.
At once, my lord. Bailiff, show Madame Tuswells to the stand.
Things are about to become a lot more intense. If Trevor is responsible, and I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice, and Dr. Scythe.
And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork.
Yes, the model of the professor. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present it's all we have to go on.
She's still working on her
hey.
waxwork of Sholmes. State your name and occupation for the court, please. I don't know why. It's so... My apologies. It's summer when we're recording this. No idea when this is going out, but in the summer, it gets very dry for me. And
yeah, the air gets very dry.
Yeah, so if I cut out, that is why, because it's so dry. Anyways, Say your name and occupation for the court, please.
See, my name is Madame Esmeralda Tusples. I am a waxwork artisan and the proprietress of the Madame Tusples Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon. Oh, he finally gets a statue, does he? And now there are two of them in the world.
Oh my, what expression is she carving onto that face? A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this?
Oui, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped. Okay. A waxwork mortal? Kidnapped? Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. She isn't French, is he? She just says that stuff, right?
Beats me, dude. You
have no
interpret
idea.
however you wish.
I don't know. I don't have a very good
Sink
French
on
accent.
whatever ship you would like to sink on, I guess.
Well, I guess I'm going down either way. However, according to what I've just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. Understand that it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim?
At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Osman.
But of course, I know him well. He is part of my Odious Personages exhibit. What's that? I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Osman does not resemble the professor at all.
Funny, we keep saying that.
Yeah, I know. Yes, but perhaps.
Perhaps nothing.
No, perhaps their faces are very similar. Are you suggesting that we should see now the demasked visage of the professor?
Oh,
I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock.
that is absurd.
Pardon?
I don't know what face you've carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed. The man's identity was never made public after all. That is true.
I have
Unless-
a suggestion.
Go on.
I bet she did indeed carve the face of the killer. And she had a picture that a certain Enoch Drever took 10 years ago.
That would explain why he had the picture.
Uh-huh. The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information.
Tawdry? Quel dommage.
I don't speak French.
I expect you to. See, it would seem that you are unaware of the Tusples' principles. What principles? The family Tusples have always prided itself on sculpting its models a la perfection, I guess, how she would say it. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Voila, our principles.
There's a well-known legend about the Tusples waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tusples family is said to have made a waxwork of the Queen who was executed.
Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now.
I believe the Queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually at the guillotine site.
You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. We Tusples will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects. Dear me. A somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose. It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of that subject. And it has been my family's secret for generations. Do you mean to say that beneath that mask, the true visage of the killer is there?
And this is ludicrous. It's out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tussible's special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer, emerging from his own grave. It is a sight to behold. You should come.
No thank you. Well, I think, Madame, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre mortal, your personal involvement in its creation.
With pleasure. Okay, let's hear what you got to say then. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on rumors that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse, in accordance with Tussible family principles. I enlisted the aid of a gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment.
So Enoch Drebber was/is a gravedigger.
Ah, I hit myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
The gravedigger, the man sanctioned this.
I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do? Huh?
So you truly saw it. The face of that monster.
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But Tussibles will not be Tussibles if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madam. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the martyr is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from the time. A special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitnesses who saw it. I see Drebber's last name on there, Mr. Drebber's dreadful encounter.
Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words.
The public enjoyed absurdity, monsieur. That is why I reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum. And it's a waxwork from the exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it? That is correct. The professor you see before you was here.
Most puzzling. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
And this waxwork links Drebber to Scythe. And there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light.
Not yet.
But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened.
I'll get to Dr. Scythe's get to the bottom of Dr. Scythe.
And I'll prove that Dr. Scythe and Drebber were in on this crime together.
Alright, we need to check that paper out. Okay, let's see.
Hold on real quick.
Let's see. Odie Asman. Wait, what? Odie Asman? Why is his name on here?
Why is his name?
Wait, what?
Why
is his name here? Also, I'm reading the stuff over here too. I'm just noticing that there's like actual text on here, which isn't really important. The important part is obviously Asman's name here. What?
Yeah, that does not
Okay,
make
but
any
does that
sense.
match? That's the same signature. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what that means
Okay.
necessarily, but
Yeah, but still.
why is his signature there? Odie Asman.
What? Did he sign the picture?
I don't know. I don't remember either, so. Alright, we need to press statement 4.
Okay. You were there longer than you expected to be. I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly. As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems with the chin. Dare I ask? The man had been dead for a short while already, you see. His muscles were relaxing, and consequently, his chin would not align itself correctly.
Oh dear, what a horrible thought.
Under normal circumstances, I would have had an assistant with me. However, that night I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time. What do you mean? When I take the impression of the visage of a cadaver, I always waited till 3 hours after death.
Is that because of rigor mortis?
Yeah, so it can kind of fix into place. Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant? It's because of... Oh, yep, of course, of rigor mortis.
I was like, previously I would not have been able to guess that, but I learned what rigor mortis is. I'm like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, I only learned kind of what it was from Resident Evil 7.
Oh.
From that cop. But, Wrigley Mortis?
No, Rick and Morty. Wait, no, that's not right either. It's a name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered.
Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one. As the mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
I see. So that's why you wait.
Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work. Ugh. It's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses. I wonder about the information the court just heard from Madame Tuswells. It's significant.
Not much confidence, but I'll take it.
I got nothing really. The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us. Would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see. Of course, I do not mind at all. So I wonder if she's an open book or is she hiding something? She seems like she is.
I can't help feeling that after this latest topic. The atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave. Meanwhile, Sholmes just laughing his butt off.
It's like, this is no time for jokes, Mr. Sato.
This is the perfect time for jokes.
Madame, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Bien, sir.
So,
Yeah.
oh, so let me ask you, so I know you weren't confident, but you picked the right thing by saying it's important. Now, any idea as to why that would be important? Think about not necessarily the rigor mortis itself, but like the time frame.
Well, if you have to wait for 3 hours until rigor mortis set in, well, I mean,
That means
else
everything
could
is
have been
floppy.
happening. Yeah, so it'd be very hard to actually get the body to move like how you want to. Okay.
Let's see.
Oh. Okay.
Hold on. So,
You mean that-
died at 2:20. Hold on. There is a thing that we need to present. Here it is.
Oh, death by hanging confirmed at midnight.
So, midnight, 12 o'clock.
Okay. So, it was so by the time rigor mortis was set in, it would have been like 3,
Correct.
I guess.
But when...
So that means like when that happened, it was between that moment, I guess. But that means if she would have waited longer for rigor mortis to set in, then something else might have happened between there, right? Yeah, and it took a very long time because for the onset of rigor mortis. Okay.
So we need to present the killer's autopsy report.
Objection.
Madame Tusbles. I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows. And is that the problem? I believe it is, because her testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another. Quoi?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
According to her testimony, Madame Tusbles was creating her wax impression just before dawn.
Now, what time is dawn usually?
Dawn is usually around 6,
Yep.
so
Huh, that's weird.
That's weird.
6
Then
hours after death? Why are you waiting so long, madam?
Yeah.
Or maybe the autopsy report's wrong.
yeah. So, because like I don't think she would have a reason to lie about it either.
Correct. She
Yeah,
wouldn't.
so that must be somebody else's.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, rigor mortis had not set in yet. Am I correct so far, madam? You are, yes. As I said, the stiffening of the jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis 2 or 3 hours after death. Okay. But the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time. Okay.
The man's chin was limp as a biscuit.
Yo, start. Okay. But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Tsai's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yes. If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would have already set in. Oui, yes, you are right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff. In other words, this report is wrong.
Someone should update this autopsy report 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Objection.
they should.
No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd.
In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time.
Impossible! I don't know why I read I am as I'm. There's no apostrophe. Goodness.
My name is Impossible. I'm impossible to work
Yes,
with.
you are, Von Sykes.
Order! Order! Council, this is beyond folly.
Not only do you indict, I guess.
Indict.
Oh, it's indict. See, the C always freaking confuses me every time I see that word. I hate it.
Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of the staff at Barclay prison where the execution took place.
I like how we've gone from accusing Enoch Drebber to then him and a esteemed coroner, and now an entirely new team of, like, we're just accusing so many people of doing so many things wrong. By heck!
Bruh.
Extraordinary!
Not in my day!
Objection! My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact.
What fact?
The professor died that night, without question.
He did. Of course he did. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands. There was no... Yes, the professor died that night. But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Didn't die at... Are you insane?
I'm not
What?
saying.
What? Are you insane from Earth? What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and that one other person of interest. Vegeta, I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting happened that night.
You calling Vegeta?
Council, present the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution.
Wouldn't that be the paper? Because that shows
It
him like
sure
rising out of
would.
the grave. Yeah. Because that means he actually did rise then. What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now?
Well, if this article is to be believed, yes. The professor, assumed dead following his execution, emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Don't be a fool! That's simply a rumor published by the gutter press.
Is it though? Can you be certain of that?
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. The point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word, yes indeed.
I guess?
Beats me, I didn't take French in high school.
Me neither. The young man who was stolen to the cemetery by chance that night.
Of course there was a witness. The story didn't write itself, but obviously the man made it all up.
Or did he now?
In any case, this was 10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding him.
Oh yeah?
I'm right here.
I know. Think.
Wait. The young man who's stolen to the cemetery by chance that night.
If it...
Wait, so it wasn't Trevor or somebody else then?
We know the answer. It explains the weird thing that showed up on the paper that we were like, why is this here?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I get it. On the contrary, my lord, we all know this witness well.
Well, it's either that or it is Enoch Drebber, but... What?
It's gotta be.
Are you suggesting, Council, that you identified the person in question?
Oh, you were right, by the way. I was wrong.
Wait, what you mean?
It is Drebber.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Osmond because he had his, like, name on the picture. Like, maybe
Yeah,
he
sorry,
could've
I
marked
misled you. I was not thinking entirely through that.
Oh. Huh.
That you know who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events take place.
Yes, my lord. In fact, you could say that he's right here before my very eyes.
You will substantiate your latest claim now then, Council. Who is this alleged witness of the staggering scene from the cemetery 10 years ago?
Bruh. The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Drebber?
The previous witness.
The special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tussauds Museum of Waxwork recreates the decade-old scene in great detail. The condemned criminal emerging from the grave, and beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Order! 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 Surely not, Council.
Drebber was there? In Lowgate Cemetery?
I mean, the picture had it. He said everything about him being there and why he was so nervous. I don't understand what's hard to believe. What does all this talk about Mr. Drebber? Is his name significant? Of course, Madame Tussauds doesn't know, does she? Yes, it's extremely significant, madam. To your situation as well, in fact. What situation? The death of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man. None! But that would mean...
Madam Tusples. It would appear you know the name, Enoch Drebber.
Oui, yes, I know it. But from long ago in the past. What?
Oh my!
Good gracious!
Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Yes, of course. Okay. The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in every single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain. However, in all of the articles, the witness was simply described as a certain young man. No detail was published about his identity. His name was never revealed. That is, apart from in one newspaper. The Daily Circus. It is the paper from which the article I have already shown the court. You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article?
Goodness me! Yes, here it is! The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Drebber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of his student dorms.
Unbelievable! When I read the article, I went to meet with the man. His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of night would make perfect exhibit for my house of horrors, whether it was the truth or not. I don't like that picture. Sends me chills up my spine.
I see.
Don't be a pansy.
That's scary. I see. So, you went with Mr. Drebber in order to sculpt the waxwork of the man, did you?
Exactamente. He was studying science at the University of London in those days. He was just a poor student. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork. And since that time, it has been in my museum to recreate the scene of terror from the cemetery. Okay. I guess we're just letting that sink in. So, 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he witnessed. A criminal who had been put to death, re-emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. But the public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing anecdote
Yep.
that was soon forgotten. 10 years later, the same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal, ostensibly to use as a body double for the victim in the case we're discussing here today. Even though the waxwork was built as a poor match for the victim and his face is obscured by a mask. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing?
The very thing that we've been stuck on for a while now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the castle
Crystal
Crystal
Tower.
Tower. Why I almost say castle crasher?
I don't know.
Jeez.
I have cat scratches on the mind.
If the birdcage had in fact contained not the body of Mr. Osmond, but the same waxwork, the coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated Dr. Scythe would have noticed immediately. And yet, she submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court has seen earlier. Why?
Because this waxwork... The waxwork was that of the professor, is that what you're saying?
Dr. Scythe put her name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who was still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Drebber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would do anything to protect. Which is precisely why Mr. Drebber used that particular waxwork as the body double.
Ah!
My lord, this court must summon Dr. Scythe to the stand. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Drebber are connected.
But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Scythe is unable to participate in these proceedings. Is that not the case?
She told us so herself, didn't she? She sure did.
Yep. Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago. And surely nobody would want to get to the bottom. Surely nobody would want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord von Sykes.
The prosecution calls for the instructions in that missive to be scrapped.
But Lord von Sykes, the missive was issued from the Lord Chief Justice Office.
F 'em.
Objection!
I guess so.
The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me.
Oh snap. Yes!
Let Enoch Drebber and Dr. Scythe rot it both take the stand together.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Order! 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 Very well. I will uphold your request. Bailiff, send us with immediate effect addressed to Dr. Scythe of the Forensics Investigation Team. The woman is compelled to attend under Her Majesty's orders.
Alright then. Enoch Drebber and Dr. Scythe. If they weren't colluding with one another, this crime would have never been committed.
Could never.
Could never be committed. I'm just a stone's throw away. I can feel it. The truth behind all of this is about to come out.
Thank you for your attendance at such short notice, Dr. Scythe. I'm disappointed in you, Lord von Sykes. You've completely betrayed the agreed policy of both Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office. Betrayal is not in my nature, as long as the truth isn't compromised. If it is, if there's even a hint of wrongdoing, then no matter whom it concerns or disgruntles, I will pursue the matter to the bitter end, as would any prosecutor worth his salt.
Mr. Drebber,
What?
you took the victim's life by means of a machine that you constructed in your workshop. He's not saying anything either. And Dr. Scythe, as the investigating coroner, you are the first on the scene to examine the victim's body. It is the belief of the defense that you collaborated with each other and were both complicit in this crime.
And where is your evidence?
At present, we have no definitive evidence, but we do have a very significant clue.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking, of course, about the waxwork. This model of the killer known as the Professor, who was sentenced to death 10 years ago.
You don't need to tell me. I witnessed a man's execution with my own eyes, and officially pronounced him dead.
That remains to be seen.
Is that so?
That one line keeps reminding me of Nobunaga Oda. It is it's something they used to say in like Samurai Warriors 3 a lot.
Ah.
According to newspaper reports from the time, on the night following his execution, the killer came back to life.
Don't waste my time.
And the sole witness to that mysterious event was you, Mr. Drebber, wasn't it? Silence. If what you saw in the graveyard that night 10 years ago wasn't some chilling fiction, but reality, it would make you privy to the very great secret of Dr. Sides. A secret so profound it could compel the coroner to agree to collaborate in your evil scheme, in fact. Mr. Trevor, tell the court. Tell everyone the truth of what you saw that night at Lowgate Cemetery.
So he was the student who saw it. You can see the resemblance, actually, can you? With the man in Madame Tuspel's, I mean. Surely he's not going to claim that's really what he saw, especially after all these years. He was a research student at the University of London, was he? And a bit too clever for his own good, if you ask me. What an interesting twist. When at the time, not one person would take me seriously. Yet now here we are, 10 years later, and suddenly my story matters. And in a court of law, too. Very well then, if everyone so wishes. Let's be frank. I'll tell you the truth of what happened that night, for what it's worth.
So, Mr. Trevor, your testimony, please, about the events of that night 10 years ago. You will tell the court exactly what you stumbled across in Lowgate Cemetery.
I stumbled across a rock in my path, and then I knocked over a log. It was really quite annoying. I stumbled over so many things.
Good gracious!
I know, right? Yeah.
I was shocked right away.
Yes, of course. As you wish. The reason I was in Lowgate Cemetery at all 10 years ago was for a spot of moonlighting, shall we say.
Bull.
Yes, the illustration that newspaper article was based on what I witnessed that night. But thinking back now, I realized I never actually saw the professor. Soon afterwards, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted a model of me from wax. Then I gave up my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article.
Wait a minute. You're claiming you didn't actually see the professor now?
Of course, you'd have to have a screw loose if you believe a corpse could come back from the dead.
But, so you're saying this article is...
Bunk. Not what the paper is printed on? I think that would describe it perfectly, yes.
Ugh.
If the details in the article aren't true, it nullifies your argument for why Mr. Trevor and Dr. Scythe would have been working together.
Company MR and D are like for everyone, instead of just saying Drebber and Dr. Scythe. So he's discrediting himself to cripple my argument?
Tell me, witness. You claim to have been in the cemetery on some auxiliary business. Can you elaborate?
That's right. Grave robbing, to be precise. As you know, Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Berkeley Prison. So among students at the university, it had a reputation of being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Grave robbing, you say?
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative. Of course, I never laid a finger on any valuables buried with the dead. So you're one of the so-called resurrectionists, a particularly unpleasant scourge on society. Actually, my fellows and I went by another name. The Repurposers.
That is quite beyond the pale. You would invite divine retribution, sir.
Oh please, I'm an atheist, that doesn't exist. Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus, eventually unearthed my name and put it to print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave university. That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add.
Let me see.
Out of interest, who drew the illustration for this article? Ah yes, that was the reporter who exposed me. He sketched that right in front of me as I described the scene. Oh, now we know why the name is there.
Oh, okay.
And why
so,
Asmund had to die.
Ah.
Obviously, as time ticked on, I bitterly regretted what I'd done. Claiming to have seen something I never truly saw. Foolish. Very foolish. Only a foolishly foolish fool would say something so foolish.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a point. Well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with cross-examination now.
At once, my lord.
Yeah, have fun getting through this pile of muck.
Alright. Let's see.
So, statement 3. We need to present something.
Okay. Should we present the paper then?
We sure should.
Yeah.
Yep.
Objection!
Hold on, sir. Sorry, Mr. Driver, but I don't believe that.
Don't believe what?
Your latest claim. You did see the professor that night 10 years ago.
I did not.
Did too.
Oh dear, we seem to be at odds. But I was there, and you were not. I know what I didn't see.
The illustration with this article was drawn based upon what you told the journalist that you witnessed. A figure emerging from a tomb, wearing an iron mask.
Ah. Yes, when the killer was tried 10 years ago. It was decided in the closed court's ruling that the man would wear the mask to hide his identity. It wasn't to be removed even during his execution and subsequent burial.
Not even the prison wardens were to see the man's face.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. So if he was wearing the mask when he was buried, and Madame Tuspels got the picture, apparently, from Drebber. Drebber took a picture that managed to capture the professor's face, which, according to our current knowledge, was covered by a mask. How did the mask come off? How did...
That is kind of weird, though.
I'll bet.
Like, maybe... Well, I don't know. The key, like, molding things didn't, like, actually exist back then, did they?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because I was gonna say,
Inconclusive.
like, well,
Couldn't tell you.
like, maybe she could have got a mold and, like, tried to, make it, but but no, because she said she waited there
Yeah.
until it happened, and so she could see his face, so something must have happened back then. Maybe someone found a way to break it off.
And then put it back on?
Yeah, like, probably, like, rebury it, maybe? But still, I have no idea, because she did sculpt what she saw. And she did claim to see his face, so I'm not sure. Or maybe she could be just making it up because she doesn't want to, I guess, like, lose face about her, waxworks, but I don't know. Anyway,
But obviously, the provision of this mask was not public knowledge.
so Mr. Drebber, as you've just heard, a lowly student at the University of London certainly wouldn't have known about the condemned man's mask. So unless you actually seen the professor that night, it's inconceivable that the artist would have included the mask in that illustration.
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Trevor?
It's a vile scene, isn't it? If you look closely. And as I've already been at pains to point out, I was utterly petrified. Which is why I had in my head that I'd seen such a blood-curdling sight. But afterwards I came to my senses, and realized that I'd been mistaken.
Sure you have. You're still saying you didn't see it.
If you're stubbornly sticking to that story, witness, then amend your testimony to explain exactly how you think your eyes deceived you. Of course, of course. Only too happy to oblige.
Yeah, I bet you are, you little smug. I can't believe he's not going to concede the point.
Okay. So, now we have a new statement. What I in fact witnessed was a fellow grave robber at work.
Hold it!
Really? A fellow grave robber? What are you talking about?
Well, I wasn't the only one busy at the cemetery that night, you know. Other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole he dug, my heart very nearly stopped. That's a terrifying sight I actually saw, you see. You're claiming it was just another student on equally insalubrious business as yourself. Many of the medical students who wear metal masks to protect them from bacteria during dissections. Clearly the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity. Wouldn't you say?
Objection!
I wouldn't say. But there's more to the story, isn't there? The article goes on to say. And in the next second, a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind.
Oh?
The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, who breathed then still once more. Oh, whose breath then still once more.
We might assume that the sexton discovered the miscreants at work, perhaps, and fired upon one of them?
If a gravedigger had shot someone in the cemetery, I think it might have been rather big news, my lord.
Ah, yes. Well,
I can only assume it's an embellishment bolted on later by the reporter.
Excuse me!
Madam Tusbles, don't take it out on Mr. Sholmes.
Yes, please don't.
Oh no. Oh la la, pardon. I was lost in my thoughts. Would it be fair to say that Mr. Drever's last remark was significant to you in some way? I thought it was a little strange. That is all. How Monsieur Drever could claim this now.
If you don't mind me saying, madam, what are you talking about?
Well, but I met you 10 years ago at your university dormitory. You recounted to me your adventures in the cemetery, no? Including the gunshot.
Stop!
Uh-oh.
You might want to watch your tongue, you know.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Threatening her?
Have a care, Trevor. That's no way to speak to a lady. Ah!
Please, Madam Tusbles. Carry on. Of course. According to what Monsieur Trevor told me at the time, he did hear gunshots from behind him, and the bullet hit the condemned man.
I said nothing of the sort!
None. You are very explicit about the details. About the mask that the figure was wearing.
Oopsie.
And the blood that spattered all over you when he was shot.
That explained the blood on the camera.
Oh.
Enough! Shut up, woman! You're making all this up!
that will do. Mr. Trevor,
Yes?
you refute the account just given by Madame Tusbles?
I have no recollection of ever saying those things.
Come on! Do you really expect us to believe you?
Control yourself, counsel. I will not permit baseless accusations in my courtroom.
Right.
Under the circumstances, I think it is best that you supplement your testimony with a statement to clarify your position on this witness.
Very well.
Struck a nerve there, did we?
I think it might be time for me to change my controller at some point in the future.
Is it right?
It's
running out,
old.
or nah,
It's called a case of the olds. It should be fine, as long as I'm not too rough or anything. But okay, that's statement 4. Which? Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we need to press this.
Okay. That young woman being Madame Tusples, of course.
Precisely. I must say I didn't expect to run into her again like this 10 years later.
As I have explained, I went by the name published on the article, and I found the man. I don't know what you mean.
So much French.
Yeah, so much French, so little brain capacity. Yes, the article in the Daily Circus, I think you said.
I was a poor student with barely a penny to my name at the time. And the young lady put £5 in front of me. So you readily consented to having a waxwork of yourself made and gave permission for it to be put on display. I did. I should sell what little I had to sell, I concluded.
Ah, oui, I remember now. I purchased something else from you that day, n'est-ce pas?
Did you? I can't say I remember.
Sure
Oh, we
you
know
do.
what it is.
What was it, madam?
His camera? Oopsie.
Oh, yeah, his camera. Ah,
Oh yes, I made a point of taking it with me whenever I made an excursion to any cemetery.
You took a camera with you, sir. To what end?
To record the details of the bodies I disinterred. But I had no intention of ever visiting a graveyard again after that night, so I sold it.
I see.
but I still have it, monsieur. It is part of the special exhibit in my house of horrors. I am very meticulous about such details. It is the Tuspel way.
It would seem, then, that this is the very camera Mr. Drebber took with him to locate cemetery on the night in question.
Yes. Interesting.
Oopsie.
So we can just, like, oh, dark stain can be seen in the belt. Yeah, so we already scanned that thing as soon as we, like, went and took it apart.
Yep. Which we will now need to re-examine, I believe, the front. Okay, no, we're good.
Ah, okay.
Oh, wait, what? Dark? What did it say? Ah. Oh, dark staining, okay. Okay, okay, now, on statement 4, we can present that camera.
Objection.
Okay. Mr. Drebber, do you remember this camera?
Ah,
That is the camera from that fateful night. Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. We stole it. It's the camera that you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Drebber.
and is that supposed to be significant?
This kind of camera is rarely seen in our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens extends forward on the end of some bellows. Like this.
What's that? There, just on the bellows. It looks like a dark red stain. Ah!
That's right. It's a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact.
Good lord, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. It would appear to be a spatter of blood.
Something that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test. Isn't that right, Dr. Scythe? It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood and not the blood of some animal. But yes, to test whether or not it's blood at all is simple enough.
I propose that Madame Tuswell's testimony was correct, and that on the night in question 10 years ago, you were spattered with blood from the gunshot wound.
Well, I...
And that, furthermore, you really did witness the condemned professor emerging from his tomb.
Ah!
I think I broke him. There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
But why? Why would he want to do that?
Well, not for his own game, it would seem.
For whose then? Who could benefit?
Mr. Drebber is obviously lying in order to protect somebody.
My goodness, he's shielding someone.
Do you know who it is?
Is it Dr. Scythe?
It sure is. Well, if that look didn't give it away.
Oh dear, he really is. Yes, my lord, and clearly... oh, dang it, hold on. There it is. Okay, it's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor coming back to life to be exposed.
Well, Counsel, who is it then? Who is the witness trying to protect by lying about what he saw that night?
No, not the lady. The obvious answer is Dr. Scythe.
She's no lady. Scythe.
Well, whatever do you mean?
Imagine that the convict who been sentenced to death was not in fact killed. Imagine if that was come to light.
What are you insinuating?
And imagine if the convict in question was the country's most hated mass murderer. If it was the professor.
That would be an unprecedented scandal.
This is beyond a joke. Need I point out that the dead cannot come back to life? Barring the guy right beside me. What you're suggesting would mean that the execution never actually happened. I mean, was anyone there for it?
I mean, they said everything was conducted in private, so, yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape. Not in Great Britain.
Objection.
Hold on. But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging.
If that were really true, Counsel, the implications of the misconduct would not stop at the supervising coroner. It would taint the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up.
And it's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Scythe would consent to any demand of her by someone who threatens to expose the secret. Even if that meant being complicit in the crime.
You mean...
I mean that Dr. Scythe wasn't collaborating in Mr. Drebber's wicked scheme. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the dead body of Mr. Osmond with the waxwork model and fabricated the autopsy report.
Ah! Haven't seen that animation in a while.
Dang. Look, Lord Von Zykes!
More like Leg Von Zykes.
Check out these stems.
Gillo these gams. Pray forgive my freshly filled hollowed chalice. and a whole raft of other discourtesies now.
Goodness me!
It's just the sort of tall tale Londoners will enjoy, I grant you. An executed killer rising from the dead, a Scotland Yard cover-up, a conspiracy at the highest levels. So let me ask you one thing.
What's that?
If the condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night, only to be shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger and disposed of him forever?
See, there's the thing. I have no idea. Well,
Hey! It's exactly what you said!
sheesh.
We have too little information to work that out at present, I think.
I couldn't agree more.
The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. Wait, you still there?
Hmm?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
And have you considered this, my little Nipponese friend?
Consider what?
Do you realize just what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such criminal activity? It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British police force and judiciary.
Quite. Hard to imagine any sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness.
Well, I suppose.
And this was no petty crime either. The victim was murdered. A man who'd already invested money in the venture, and would be instrumental in future profits too. Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr. Osmond at all. Or are you forgetting that his death results in me receiving not a single penny? Yeah, that's exactly why you would kill him.
Yeah.
Because it's not about money now, it's about the fact that if you killed him, like, oh, obviously you wouldn't have killed him because you wouldn't get the money. Like, no. His entire thing, he was shamed and made a joke by Mr. Asmund 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense why the contract exists the way it does. It doesn't matter. It makes him very much not pointed fingers at of like, oh, obviously you did. Like, no, I couldn't because no money. Oh, now it makes sense. The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim, no?
There is a contract, that's very true.
The motive for this case runs deep, though. I can feel it.
Using threats to force the head of forensic investigation team to cooperate is extreme. Especially for a government grant he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Osmond's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means, Mr. Trevor's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Osmond. But why? Why was this motive then?
Your time is up, my learned friend. I'd say you have one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade. Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we? Good dodge. How do you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country?
Was that older instinct?
No, I think I just obviously made it like I was gonna throw.
Ah, okay. At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture without proof. So, counsel, present your evidence.
Alright. Who exactly was Mr. Osmond to Trevor? There's a connection there that no one has seen yet. And I'm going to present two pieces of evidence to show what it is.
We now know.
Yeah. So... Oh. Yes, my lord. The evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted the victim dead is right here. So, it's the newspaper, obviously.
Take that!
It's this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago, and every detail's been examined already. What can it possibly tell us? That drivel should never have been written! It's typical gutter press nonsense that means nothing!
Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, when considered alongside another piece of evidence, it will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Osmond dead.
What other evidence?
Counsel, you will present your supplementary evidence without delay. The evidence, for which the Cros refers with the newspaper article, establishes a motive for the deed.
What is the other thing? Is it the... No, it's not the, receipt. Is it,
Think. So what's let me ask you this. Why is a newspaper important? Like, what's the part with the newspaper that makes it obvious?
Well, it's Mr. Osmond's, like,
Right.
is... Oh, wait, so we need to present the contract that has the signature on it,
Huh?
Take that!
don't we?
That's
Okay.
it.
It's this contract, my lord. Mr. Trevor, this is the contract you signed with Mr. Osmond.
Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact. That proves I had no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not.
What?
There's something very significant about this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Odie Osmond.
It seems the defense has uncovered something the rest of us have missed. So, my learned friend, point out what these two pieces of evidence have in common. Where exactly is the link between this newspaper article and the contract?
This?
What these two pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
The signature on the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What? Ah!
As the court has heard, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Trevor and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing. And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Osmond's signature at the bottom.
Let me see now. Good lord, yes, they're identical.
In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Trevor 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Odie Osmond. Oh. I think the man did.
But explain to the court why. Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Osmond?
Well, if you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Trevor talked about the article in his testimony.
Yeah, we were just here for this.
Yeah. Okay.
Gave up on being a scientist.
At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However,
Hold on, did we ever look at this?
we looked at that.
Oh, we did. Okay, yeah. There wasn't much to look at. Okay. Sorry,
They're good old, back solder, I think.
Yeah!
This single newspaper article changed your entire life.
So Mr. Osmond used to be a newspaper journalist, did he?
He did, my lord. In fact, it's a widely held belief that Osmond managed to position himself at the heart of his criminal network, thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as a reporter.
So you had to give up on your dream and leave university. You lost everything. Eventually you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article, written by Mr. Osmond.
Enough! Stop this endless drivel about my life!
What? Explain yourself, Mr. Drebber.
Yes, it's true. I leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just a straw that broke the camel's back.
What do you mean?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did. Only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other, after all.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Good gracious.
Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only a select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench. Being forced out of the university because of Lowgate was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Objection!
Mm-hmm. Sure, Mr. Drebber. Do you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do! Who's
I don't.
better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you!
Watch. And I have evidence to prove it.
How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam. Fine. If you think you have evidence, go ahead. Show it. What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lacked talent?
Would that be the picture of... Oh, well, would it be the picture of the,
Huh?
The,
What picture?
What is it? Forgot what did it display, like, the identical, like, machine, or was that something else?
No.
Okay, so it's not that. Oh, his science trophy. We just looked at that.
Yeah.
Take that!
Do you remember this, Mr. Drebber? We found it at your workshop.
Ah, yes, it's my back massager, thank you.
No one's ever gonna let me live this down.
Nope. Is that a Royal Society back massager for excellence in... Wait, no. So... Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science?
Oh, back massage. Well, what is exactly this trophy, Council?
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future.
Good gracious.
Your prospects for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because even then, you were a genius in your field.
Ugh.
But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Osmond was. But what I tell you that was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life. It's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man.
The truth is...
Finally, he's going to fold. Huh? What's going on? Oh.
Fine. Clearly this has run its course now. What? I admit it. All of it.
What?
What are you doing? It's exactly as the Japanese man said. I was coerced into going along with this man's plot to murder the victim, on the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago. No.
Good lord!
Dr. Scythe! Do you realize what you're saying, woman? It's all true. That day, when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating. What's in his jacket pocket?
Yeah, that's a little letter thing.
That memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. It was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. There was a note tucked inside the model's jacket. Dr. Scythe, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night 10 years ago. All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene, and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
Whoa. That was, quite a bombshell.
Why on earth would you buckle now? Well, there's no point trying to hide anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
So then, Mr. Trevor, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything.
Surely it goes without saying.
You admit your part in it too, then?
I admit nothing! At all!
What?
Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion? Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No! Order!
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Von Zykes. Yes. I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
I have heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court.
Whoa, hold on!
Wait.
This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue this alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Trevor. The defendant is Professor Albert Harebrain.
Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Isn't he one of your closest friends?
As the court has heard, Dr. Scythe has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt.
You mean...
At the present time, it is the conclusion of the court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have any objections?
None, my lord. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo! You proved Professor Harebrain's innocence!
Without further ado then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense has any other matters to discuss.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right. Why did Dr. Sai suddenly admit to it like that?
Is everything alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. But is that really what we want? What the defense should be pushing for now is... I mean, that was the first thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to prove that, Professor Harebrain was innocent. And we now know he's innocent, but there's also other things to uncover, isn't it?
It's your call.
Well, if I was Ryunosuke, I'd probably want to go and follow, like, my instinct, and probably just, like, keep going.
Your instinct's correct.
Objection.
The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
We demand one final testimony.
What? You do realize we're about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I presume?
What are you playing at now, my Nipponese friend? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do that.
But he's more than just a defense lawyer.
Mr. Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking?
The truth. The whole truth. And a way to bring it all out into the open.
Right.
Yes. In hindsight.
Ah yes, one word of warning before I go. If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass.
I'm sure Mr. Sholmes knew.
Of course he knew.
He always knows. He must have deduced that this would happen. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client. And to secure an acquittal.
Obviously.
But that's not all. I believe that I have a duty to the court. To pursue the whole truth of the case. Until the very last detail is laid bare. And that is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. Scythe.
Testimony from me? About what?
About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Ha! In case it's escaped your attention, I have already admitted to everything I did. Oh, did you?
I'm not so sure about
The
that.
whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting everyone's time.
Ugh.
As his lordship made very plain, your client will get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
Ow! Pray forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped. Oops.
That's what you call it?
My leg hurts!
What is your objection, Lord Von Sykes?
The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness. Don't be stupid. I've never been stupid, just racist, which is stupid, but if there is more to this case than has yet come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end. You what?
Lord Von Sykes.
This is most irregular, to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. Dr. Scythe, you will testify for the court. Explain the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed with Mr. Drebber.
Very well.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. The last. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it.
So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specially designed for the deception.
So it seems. And all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy.
Don't you compliment me. So kind of you to say.
And what about this autopsy report then? All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower, instead of under the stage. That's all? That's a terrible corruption! Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you. God, why can't she smile at me like that?
We need to be a cadaver, I suppose.
You're right.
That's the only people that she looks at. Lucky stiffs.
We must be thankful for the small mercies, I suppose. If you can call them that. I believe the testimony has clarified everything.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Sure.
There's no particular need for cross-examination, I would say.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But we're still gonna do it, though.
Yep.
No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at that expression on Dr. Sai's face.
Just look at that expression. God, what a woman.
See, I didn't notice her eyes. I thought they were, like, rolled back. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to see that expression. It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following the testimony.
What is about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
That's racist. But very well, if you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Here we go.
Alright.
We must press the third statement. The part about it being her job.
Okay. When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this?
Yes, the instruction in the engineer's note said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Harebrain alone could have killed Asmon.
So, you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage, and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Dr. Trevor. I mean, not Dr. Trevor. Not even Doctor. It's just...
Well,
Mr.
yeah, Doctor was right, but...
Yeah, but... That was the wrong thing.
I didn't feel it'd be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception. There's a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then, I took the screwdriver in both hands, and plunged into the man's chest.
Ow.
I mean, he was already dead, so I don't think you feel any pain.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report. As the fictitious cause of death.
Exactly. So, the actual cause of death was... the trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
My word. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Something about Dr. Sai's last statement is playing on my mind, that's all.
Yes. Mine, too. Dr. Scythe.
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well. Dr. Scythe!
Scythe! The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony.
Oh, which part?
What I wanted to supplement for testimony with is... would it be what she did to avenge him, or...
Yep.
Yeah. 'Cause we already know how she did it.
Yep.
How you stabbed Mr. Osman in the chest. That part.
Fine, if that's what you want. But there's really no need to point. You don't understand, that's what we, that's what we do best. The prosecution concurs. I like to imagine they're both staying there pointing at her.
It's like, stop. What's wrong with you?
This is an Ace Attorney thing, you'll get over it.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It really does.
Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
If you wish, my lord.
I do.
Okay. I saw the victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage, and plunged a screwdriver into the chest. Wait,
Okay.
into the chest? Wait, did she?
So the drawers where it lay in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest.
I mean... Wait. Hold on. Okay, I have a question.
Okay. What is it?
Well... It's... the stab wound itself.
What about the
Okay,
stab wound?
so... Imagine... and this is weird to imagine, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but... Imagine you're looking... You have to stab something and it's laying down. Right?
Okay.
So you stab. And, like, of course blood's gonna happen, but why is it... If he was laying down, why is it dripping down his chest?
Yeah, that is weird.
That's... Something's
Wouldn't
not
it
right
just
about
kinda
that.
Wouldn't it just kind of like, you know,
Yeah, it would just...
a little bit, but it wouldn't like drizzle down if he was like laying down, would
yeah. So she stood
That
over
is-
it, huh?
it? That is weird.
I don't know about that.
Or maybe you couldn't like. Oh, but maybe you have to roll it over because I don't think you could reach in that cave unless it was unlocked.
Well, that's not really the point. Besides, the birdcage
Oh.
had very clear and open you know.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, alright. I got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth.
What on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue? Cat's got it?
I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation.
Out with it, my learned friend.
There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection!
Yes, we have already considered it, that's true. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean?
I believe we should let the defense explain. Where in the photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement?
It's the bloodstain.
Take that!
Bloodstain. Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in the downward direction towards the man's feet.
And why is that significant, Counsel? We don't understand. If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah! Of course, no, that's not what happened.
Exactly.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in testimony just now that the point at which he stole Professor Harebrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was in motion, and the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage had fallen on its side after a 30-foot drop, and that the victim really had been stabbed whilst the birdcage was in that position. The blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. For it to have formed in the longitudinal appearance that we see in the picture is inconceivable. Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Osmond, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was total fabrication. I knew it, and I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under great apprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
Dr. Scythe. You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left at the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that is the case, what is it, man?
Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony?
Would that be how she
It'd be the
was
thing we
coerced?
pointed out just now.
Oh, the stabbing of the victim. Okay. The answer is very simple, if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards, as it did, we can be sure that the victim has been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible! The man was dead, remember?
No! That is the misapprehension.
That waha? He wasn't dead?
When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. But Mr. Osmond didn't die in the fall.
Oh.
It probably shook him up then, maybe.
Right.
He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. Uh-oh, that means you actually did kill him.
Yep.
If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Uh-oh.
Ah.
Mr. Odie Osmond's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harebrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Frick! I had all planned out! I mean,
It was you, Courtney Scythe!
No!
Oh dear, dear, dear.
Order! 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 Can this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him? Don't look away from me, you... word I can't say here in court.
You biscuit maker?
You hope that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before you were accused of far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder!
Oh, dude, shut up! You're so desperate now, you're making all this up. As if I would do something like that.
Objection!
Oh, Susato. I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Ha! Logic? Don't make me laugh. Only a prosecutor in maroon can use logic. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it.
What? What do you mean?
I'd have thought it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Osmond? Osmond was involved in a number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Scythe there.
I'm rather relieved to say that it does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True, there's no obvious motive. But there's something in the back of my mind. Oh, there's still something in the back of my mind. I feel I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this.
Yes, I might have tampered the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
No. When you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Osmond, something did come to mind.
What? Money.
Money?
Money.
What,
If it
why
doesn't
would
go
she-
to Drebber.
Oh, then it goes to the next person in line, wouldn't it?
And plus, they spent so much money on different tools and things.
Oh, with all
Remember
the
they got like
scalpels and stuff.
300,000 scalpels or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, Council? Lighten the court at once.
Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Scythe would have wanted to kill Mr. Osmond. Scalpels.
Yep.
And it's a scalpel, or rather, scalpels.
Did you say scalpels?
Ah!
It would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor.
You! Come on, out with it!
It was yesterday, when we visited your laboratory.
Look at this big, thick book here.
Oh,
It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh?
what is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
Yeah.
500 scalpels? A month? I don't even buy that many shavers.
At first, I wondered why on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realized it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them, disappearing every month from the department's accounts.
Osmond's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward.
But why all the scalpels, though? 10 years ago, Mr. Osmond was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber. He may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the history.
Story.
Oh, story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money for her in the next decade.
Her darkest secret? Good lord, you mean...
I don't know what happened on the night of the execution 10 years ago. But clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Osmond in the heart with all your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your darkest secret forever.
You'll never understand. None of you.
You're right, I don't.
What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
Okay. What, though? As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened. 10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of that bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness, and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that fate's had over you all these years. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis? I mean, really. It's the addle-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's.
So stupid.
They make me sick! I can't abide their foolishness.
Careful, Mr. Trevor.
I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it?
So you admit it. You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim?
Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge.
Revenge for the future that Mr. Osmond's article had deprived you of 10 years ago. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Osmond, did it?
Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see. The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true, then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well. Or on Dr. Scythe, to be precise.
It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Osmond turned up in my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he had happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. About the coroner who'd handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensic team. When I learned that news, my cognitive processes started to devise the plan. What a horrid tale. He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use that man's own wiles against him, for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I've had to suffer.
Oof. Dark. I would have covered my tracks more. Your actions against those who ruin your future were justified as revenge. At least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospect, especially for a purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you?
Did I?
Professor Hairbrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis. But you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in the exact same thing for another perfectly innocent young man.
I...
What fun, Sykes?
What of Dr. Scythe?
An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Drebber.
A most regrettable situation indeed. She made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Hairbrain.
Oh, yes?
It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all that sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, but I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. Me, this dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered and above all, a fool.
Professor.
I spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I. No, Professor, that's not true. What? Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way.
Cortland Sykes.
And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices. Oh. Thank you, Baruch.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord.
it is the court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge of which he stands accused. I presume there are no objections?
None from me, my lord.
Certainly not.
This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision.
It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
What's that? It's done, is he? It's all over?
I don't know what's become of the art these days, and I don't recognize the place.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant not guilty.
Woo! Yeah!
We did it.
Uh,
Oh boy. But what's going to happen to us now?
Court is adjourned.
oh, but we ain't done yet.
It's over. That was some trial. Oh dear. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Congratulations, Professor Hairbrain. Mr. Naruhodo, Miss Susato, I am truly beside myself with gratitude. How can I ever thank you enough?
I'm just glad it's all been cleared up. That you realized you were just caught up in a bad situation.
Ah! Right now, you know, if I had that research grant money, I'd give the whole lot to you! Every penny!
Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough. Oh dear, what can I do? Aha!
Buy us lunch.
How about this? As memento, the paper about my hypothesis is inside.
Well, just a memento then. Just as a memento then, thank you.
I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now? Oh my. Yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I must explore the Great Exhibition whilst I'm here, too, and see if new inspiration hits me. Oh yes, it's a wonderful idea. I can't allow that.
Lord Von Zykes, what are you doing in here?
What are you doing in here? This is the defense
Chatting.
antechamber. What are you... Baroque! I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert. Well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying! You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey! Thanks. You're one of the few true friends I have. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution. Or the defense.
Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right?
No. I always knew you had my best interest at heart. Don't worry. How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on. Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you. What? From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets. But no! Hold on a minute, Baroque! What about the Great Exhibition? This is the chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around. No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea. Ugh. Sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Baroque.
Lord Von Zykes. What's all this about?
Unnecessary precaution. Yes, I think I understand.
You do?
The Reaper.
Oh.
Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Von Zykes at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time, and thinking it was an nice fit max.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well. Even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial the Reaper as a prosecutor.
Yeah, you mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those in Reaper's sights meet their end days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up to now. But of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent. True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. Nevertheless, I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend. But Broke! Like the mustached Nipponese, this man shall leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once.
Right. Does your friend-shaped package kid ain't be saying it?
Goodness, was this your intention all along then, Lord Von Zykes?
In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless. And yet, sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being. Ah, yes, alright. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything.
Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain. Well, once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now. Now, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes? Thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
You want to talk with me?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
Well, that was strange. For some reason, I didn't get that sense of independent doom as we walked away this time. I'm impending doom. The Enigma, Baruch von Zykes. But what does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes, then. Man, I would be so nervous if I had to go in the courtroom and only he was there.
Don't worry, Cosmo's there too. And the waxwork. And Susato.
Huh, cool.
So, are you satisfied? You saved a guileless scientist from a great injustice.
Yes, I think so. I'm relieved, at least, that the man's innocence could be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity towards you Nipponese comes from.
Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me.
Oh, that's true too.
Oh. I imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here. But now, I think differently. You clearly know our ways. So I would guess that some specific incident let you're through dislike of my race.
Thorough.
Oh, thorough. Let you to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please?
The Professor. I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest. He took your brother's life. Clint. My brother was Clint von Zykes. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens. He was already the director of prosecutions, and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan. Oh. If it was 16 years ago, then one of them could have been my father. Of course. I remember Dr. Mikotoba well. I had no idea. I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clint introduced me to 3 visiting Nipponese. So, you've actually met my father? He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects, even. just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved.
I'm so sorry, Lord Von Sykes. Truly.
Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway, so he wouldn't have wanted any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
In plain sight.
Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up in war.
What? A war? Between Britain and Japan?
But that would mean... Oh my! You mean to say the professor was...
When the trial reached its conclusion earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time. Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Wait a minute. That face. I feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
You good, bro?
Father.
What? Father?
Hey! That's our boy!
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned. As he stood there before me,
Ryunosuke.
hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba. It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Cosmo.
I owe you thanks, too, for taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh. Karuma, great blade of the Asogi clan, passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
I've made it. At last. Father.
Are you saying... Surely not. You mean, you knew all this time? I'm looking at it. But... I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Kazuma-sama.
Ryunosuke, we have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So he's living after him as the man who took my brother's life, is he?
Yes, Kazuma Asugi, my best friend.
3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there. Some connection.
Why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Cosmo Lord von Zech's apprentice? And when he was suffering amnesia, too.
The man was apprehended, even executed. But his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked. "10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me. It was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Princess Sato-san, all this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this man about this with me before, though.
It took time to adjust having Father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London, and that the friend had left behind a son, a boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Asogi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter. But in many, it was the start of a new one.
Thank you all so much for watching. Do the things, and meet with us back here tomorrow for court.